All right, so good to get back out there. Once again, a lot of new faces in our portal world that we live in. Also, again, a lot of new coaches. So a lot to work on there of getting everybody situated, everybody together. But, this will be good to go watch this film and see these guys run around today. I'm sure quarterback questions, all the guys practiced today and rotated in there. So all looked good. So we're excited about, I feel like there's a lot of similarities to last year and a lot of, last year was the quarterback replacement, but a lot of pieces. You have a lot of new pieces in here this year, to look at and to figure out, and a brand new defensive scheme to work them into as well.
Questions? Go for it.
Blaine, can you kind of set the stage for us with how you see the quarterback position as spring opens up? Just, how you see that?
I just see it being very competitive. I think Jackson, we actually have been allowed to throw with them, which is a newer rule, I think, in the last year or two, before the break. Before we weren't allowed to do that with the ball. And so I think Jackson is throwing really well. I actually was out in California. He happened to be at the same place as Knox throwing, and his dad was out there and commented on that it looks like, at the end of last season and the first year playing so much, to have some time to recover. He's gotten stronger and has looked really good and much improved. So that's exciting. Spencer was a little limited in throwing initially with a previous injury, but he was out there today taking reps. So excited for all three guys. Much different than where we were a year ago, in my opinion, as far as depth, quality in the room.
How important are these next few weeks for the defensive install with the new defensive coordinator?
I think it's really big, very different scheme than what we played before, and so as well as some new pieces and some guys injured and some guys limited in what they're doing, and again, new coaches. He's not just Pete, so a lot of work to do there, and we've seen the system work really well at a lot of places, and now we just got to get our guys to learn it.
I mean, what are the data points at this time of the year specifically that you're looking for with those three quarterbacks that you kind of try to figure it out?
I mean, our evaluations, usually comes down to timing, accuracy, and decision making are three things that forever we've kind of looked at. But we got a long time, spring and fall, to figure it out and let guys play. And the goal is to improve depth of every room that you have, and that's when you become a really good team. I think that if there was some rating of quality of the room, I would certainly think that room's improved from where it was a year ago. So basically to have two returning starting quarterbacks and very high profile recruit in there that redshirted last year is really good and a lot different than once Luke decided to transfer, where the room was, especially as you look at basically around the bowl game time.
Can you talk about the general health of the offensive line? I know that a couple of guys had some off-season procedures. Who's out there? Who's not going to be out there this spring?
I mean, we're working guys in positions and new guys coming in there as well. With two transfer guys, a third one on his way. So, there's a lot of things to look at there in different positions, and some guys like Jaden that'll be out. So that just gives other people opportunities.
Jeremy James, he's out this spring as well. What about the status of Michael Pettis?
He's fine. Practiced today, and look for him to improve on a really good freshman year.
Last year, this time, you expressed concerns about the incorporating so many new players and the cohesiveness. You've got the same situation this year. What did you learn last year about the meshing and getting them to play together?
Yeah, I feel like we're in a similar situation, probably not as many impact players, I feel like maybe this time a year ago that I thought there were going to be, even though it doesn't always pan out the way you think it's going to. And there were a couple guys specifically that I thought would have had bigger roles than they ended up performing last year. So there'll be a lot of new faces and new names, and that's very challenging. It's challenging when your staff turns over. Our strength coach, and Wilson leaving, was a very big challenge because that's your off season where a lot of that develops. So Coach Savage being here again helps that transition. That was a very big concern of mine, of not just all the coordinators changing a year ago, but the strength coach changing. So I think that does help that.
We spoke to Aishin earlier today, and I was just wondering if you could talk about his impact from last season, and how much his success this upcoming season determines how well the secondary plays with some departures there.
Yeah, I think this is a good systematical change for him. Gets a lot more NFL oriented. The position that he played here and Iowa State was really not. You don't really play that in the NFL, that system, in that position. So this will prepare him a lot more for the next level and really challenge him.
Lane, you lose Mingo and Malik, and so this spring, what are you needing to see out of that group of returners and some of these new guys that you've got?
Just really to play really well with the new quarterbacks, meshing in there with Jackson, and so those guys will have a lot of work to do and a lot of production to be replaced from those two outside receivers.
Lane, you went out and got Jameer Lewis from Southwest Community College kind of late in the cycle. What have you seen of him from off the field workouts, and what are your expectations for Jameer Lewis?
Yeah, I think sometimes, as you would know better than me, you find guys around here later in the cycle that, and I think this goes all the way back to COVID, people were missed in recruiting because of that and not being out as much. And so I think sometimes you find these guys late and you're looking for certain things. And now with the way the numbers not being, the 25 cap being removed, it really allows you to take somebody like that late where maybe before you couldn't, and because you're losing so many people every year, going out into the portal. Everyone has that. So I think where it's it's limited, some players like junior college players and some high school guys are getting opportunities. In some ways late, there's been more opportunities because of the limited cap.
Anything else for Coach? Go ahead, David.
Lane, I don't know if you got the chance to watch any of the NCAA tournament. But we've got Tennessee and FAU this weekend. Do you have a rooting interest in that one?
I really did not watch very much. I had a bunch of stuff with the kids going on this last weekend, so I did not get to watch very much. But I do know Dusty. He was there when I was there at FAU and hired him, and really energetic young coach, and obviously has done an amazing job there.
Sure.
And kind of going off that, Coach Yell, I think, was on Bob the other day talking about how you basically talked to Kirby, kind of giving your advice. You don't mind sharing the old joke?
I mean, not that I have the answers. I just called her the other morning and just said, go to the next game. We've all been in situations where we focus too much on a big week the week before and a big upset, and just talk to her about, so what now what, like they're going to hear, the players all week are going to hear how great they are, and first time going to Sweet 16 in so many years and all that stuff, and you got to get them away from that focus and get them on to the next game, because upsets happen all the time and they're a big story at the time, and then if you don't win the next one, you forget about them. So just moving on to the next game. Not that I have the answers, but I just was thinking about her yesterday morning.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, guys. Have a good week. Thanks.